No, I'm not a slut. I'm just a people person with my asshole. Hi! Welcome! Welcome to Unwind. I'm not sober, and neither will you be anymore. Great. My name is Reuben Kaye. I'm an actress, a left-leaning dictator, an inspiration to the lazy, and an answer to the question, what does off your meds look like? And this is Unwind, the guided meditation for the end of the world. The only guided meditation with a wine pairing. I'll be honest, my liver is not dealing with this gimmick. It's rejecting me harder than my father. Well, it's week 6 of isolation, and much like my sex life in high school, things are not getting easier. But the lube is getting better. And in week 6, we're all thinking the same thing. How is 2020 being jointly directed by David Lynch and Stanley Kubrick with a script by Joel Schumacher? Sorry, that was semen. This has been a big week for all of us, and yet it feels like nothing at all has happened. We are rocketing forward to an unknown yet probably fiery conclusion while remaining completely in stasis. Isn't it comforting to know that society as a whole is modelled on my parents' marriage? Tonight, I come to you with a broken heart, but a working prostate. I wish it were the other way around, and for a brief shining moment, it was. Thanks, New Zealand All Blacks. Kia ora and malo elele. As a side note, just confidentially, people often assume I'm a bottom, but that's just because I take a lot of dick. In fact, Facebook's facial recognition software once tagged me in a picture of a 2-day-old profiterole. But realistically, I don't need a man to fuck me. My career is doing that just fine on its own. Actually, that's not completely true. Unwind has garnered media attention. This week, I was asked to be an ambassador for the Guide Dogs Association, which combines 2 of my favourite things, Labradors and men who won't look at me. This is our 6th episode of Unwind, although I don't like to think of them as episodes. That sounds too mercenary. I like to think of them as healing sessions. You know, we're all offloading trauma here like an Olsen twin shedding kilos. And let's be honest, after the last 7 days, it's needed. I'm not saying I'm getting aggressive, but this week I asked my therapist, if I'm the one who does all the talking, why are you the cunt who gets the beach house? So pop the kettle on, get comfortable, and if you can, tie yourself to the chair and open the septic tank of your mind palace. Because this is a place where money, commercialism, and personal gain are left at the door. Also, my PayPal link is paypal.me/RRK Entertainment. Should you feel the urge to donate spontaneously surge through your chakras and into your wallets, do it. You're only completing the circle. Oh God. Yeah, today's the day I find out my superpower is finding emotionally withholding men and shit wine. Now, some people say I don't have a place in this industry, that I'm too fragile, or that I use this platform maliciously or irresponsibly. Moi, irresponsible? Well, as I said to my ex-boyfriend, if the restraining order fits, I want to wear your skin. But seriously, I know that these meditations are reaching people. I've noticed an ever so slight rise in the amount of hate mail I receive on a daily basis. One envelope even contained a suspicious white powder, and now I don't know what happened to Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, and I've just realised it's still Wednesday. So that's great. So thank you to the Australian Christian lobby. Keep trying, guys, but you can't kill what's already dead inside. Oh God. Oh, this wine is a worse decision than JFK choosing the convertible. Or Jackie wearing dry clean only. Which brings me to the only friend who has stood by me through this period of isolation. The grapes of wrath, my red Panadol. Why are you so good to me? Tonight's red wine is brought to you by the month May and the words, "Help, I can't stop screaming in my sleep." The wine has top notes of room temperature seafood and sadness. And since the Buddhist philosophy believes in ultimate balance, for every drop that goes in, I'm going to throw it back up. When? Who knows? It'll be a fun game we can all play at home. All I know is that it's true what they say. You do not buy cheap wine. As my toilet, the tiles of my bathroom, and the walls of my nephew's kindergarten will tell you, you simply rent it. And what can be said about this wine that hasn't already been said in a Japanese promotional video on industrial whaling? Yeah, that's like drinking a glass of Ernest Borgnine's face. Now this week, I've received an influx of questions on the online. Reuben, how do you go through life with such grace, poise and magnanimity? Reuben, how can I attain the level of inner peace you present to the world? Reuben, if nature abhors a vacuum, how do you exist? Or Reuben, how do you do this? And more importantly, why do you do this? Good questions, gang. And the answer to all of them is so hot. Oh, this makes me glad I had my tonsils removed for all that extra space during Fist Week in Dusseldorf. So let's get into the meditation. Tonight, my ISO ladies, we're going to look inwards, because everything else outside is a trash fire of corruption, greed and stupidity. So let's break out the red Panadol, and in the words of Whitney Houston, I have nothing. By the way, I tried to find the serving suggestions on this wine, but it just has a link to the website for Euthanasia Australia. So that's good. That's great. I might get a bottle for Nana. So let's settle. Nest even. I want you to find your space. A silent center of calm where you can remove yourself from any stress or distractions. If the outside world demands your attention, acknowledge and move on. It might be a spouse asking you where a spatula goes after 6 weeks of living in your house without paying rent because they work in a non-essential field and are on a paid fucking holiday. It may be a child playing with a gas stove top. I don't know. Whatever it is, ignore it. It'll sort itself out. Tune it all out and breathe. Allow it to... Oh, sorry. Didn't realize how solid that wine is. Allow it to move down your body like an infectious fungal spore moving through a host body. Take a big drink and allow that alcohol to neutralize your stress and panic as we move into the release of tension, a process we call breathe in and fuck offs. Has your career crumbled? Is any prospect of rejoining the workforce or society just a glistening mirage on the distant horizon? Have your children repeatedly woken you up at 6 a.m. every day because they need stimulation or an education or love? Well, join me in breathing in deeply, and on the out breath, give a big fuck off. New vaccine trials have begun in the UK, and donors are being asked to donate their plasma in a search for an effective treatment for the virus. And in an unsurprising turn of events, any man who has had sex with another man in the past 3 months is excluded, which pretty much stops any clergy from donating. Gay and bisexual men have been banned from donating their plasma unless they can prove they haven't had sex with a man in the last 3 months. I'd be lucky to have had sex with a fucking pillow in the last 3 months. It's been so long, I've started painting faces on my hands just so there's someone to make eye contact with during oral. And I'm the one giving it. This smacks of lazy homophobia and anti-HIV stigma that harkens back to a time when we viewed HIV as a death sentence and homosexuality as a disease. If we look at the figures, almost 25% of people newly diagnosed with HIV identify as heterosexual anyway. Don't get tested. don't know their status, and unknowingly pass it on to their partners. But, in fact, who you fuck and how you fuck don't matter at all, as all plasma and blood is tested before use or transfusion. What this comes down to is a total lack of education and a deep vein of homophobia that runs through this world deeper than the last traces of amyl nitrate that refuse to leave my system no matter how many times I douche. I would love to donate my blood and organs now, just so I can fit into this outfit, which, much like my foreskin, is too tight and is better off left on the floor. And donating my organs would raise morale anyway, because it'll give the med students something to laugh at when they see my liver. So breathe in and fuck off. Now, Oh God, if I could produce moisture, I'd be crying right now. The American coronavirus benefits and support system has become backlogged like a communal chemical toilet in a caravan park, while simultaneously some of the richest people in the US have snatched up millions of dollars in handouts. The billionaire class has added $308 billion to its wealth in 4 weeks, even as a record 30 million people have filed for unemployment in the States since mid-March. That is well and truly fucked. At this point, I'm waiting for good news like Bobby Christina waiting for an ambulance. It may get here, but it won't be in time. According to the Institute for Policy Studies, between the 18th of March and the 22nd of April, the wealth of America's plutocrats grew 10.5%. This has happened because the super rich have sailed through loopholes, snatching up a $349 billion bailout meant to save hard-hit small businesses. About 150 public companies joined in a feeding frenzy and managed to bag more than $600 million in forgivable loans before the funds ran out. So, to the billionaires hoarding their wealth like dragons sleeping on piles of gold while the rest of us look at our own children as a possible lean cuisine, breathe in and fuck off. The UK is looking to relax restrictions just days after winning the prize of highest death toll in Europe. Rishi Sunak, British Chancellor and the man whose favourite sexual position is standing at a lectern while he fucks 65 million people out of a future, has started to wind down the furlough scheme, saying that this level of spending is unsustainable. Isn't it? Especially when you consider that no one with any actual money will ever have to pay for it, Rishi. Shockingly, unlike Australia, the UK refused to place a moratorium on evictions during the pandemic. This means it's not illegal to evict people in the middle of the coronavirus emergency, meaning that central London is seeing a surge of hundreds of newly unemployed people who are being forced to sleep on the streets because they can no longer afford to pay rent. And when the UK is still reporting over 4,000 new cases per day and 30,000 deaths in total, reducing restrictions shows an alarming lack of foresight or, more likely, a complete disregard for the health and safety of the most vulnerable people in society. I'm sorry there aren't any jokes here, by the way. It's all just too fucked. And once again, Boris Johnson and the Tories are using this pandemic to sell off the NHS, benefit the wealthiest, and generally treat the British population with the same care and attention as Ollie Murs treats a can of Pringles. Because everyone in the UK now knows what it's like to be hollowed out and stuffed by a pasty, pie-faced, blonde fuck muppet. Breathe in and fuck off. Just fuck off all of it. All of the hate, all of the chaos, all of the darkness in the world. And as you breathe out all that negativity, breathe out that poison, begin to breathe in some positivity, something lighter. Let it fill your lungs, your veins, your very spirit. With every deep breath in, imagine yourself breathing in pure energy, pure light, pure hope, and pure alcohol. And welcome to the fun part of the evening. The booze should be moving through your body, turning anger to joy, as we dive into the celebration of the good in the world. This week, Sudan criminalized female genital mutilation. Late to the party, Sudan, but glad you made it. There's beer in the fridge, and help yourself to pizza shapes and Doritos. Now all we have to do is get rid of that pesky 14-year sentence for homosexuality, and you can have dessert. Cheers. The ACT, or Australia's Vatican City, has reported all cases recovered and no new cases of coronavirus. I mean, it's not surprising in a city with a population of under 400,000 that's made up of wealthy, elderly white men, but they have neutralized the virus. There is just so much coming up here. Almost like my digestive system is mimicking my emotional state. As the states and territories in Australia relax restrictions, Northern Territorians are finally able to fish, camp and play non-contact sport, which is, to be honest, the holy trinity of my dating strategy. Fishing, camp, and sadly no contact. And Australia and New Zealand are now cooperating to create a Tasman bubble of free travel between us once restrictions are relaxed, which could be very soon, given how well the two countries are doing. So cheers and breathe in some light. Judi Dench is now the oldest British Vogue cover model, proving to all the naysayers that there is life after cats. Trudeau has banned assault rifles in Canada, and Queen Elizabeth recently made a phone call to Australian Prime Minister and human neck Scott Morrison to check in to see how we were going along with our recovery from the bushfires. Your Royal Highness, you are one sharp tack. Good on you for staying abreast of current events and having the common touch. Now head into the parlour where your butler has pre-chewed your eggs Benedict and plans to feed you like a baby bird. Cheers. And come back to centre. Acknowledge the experience. Breathe and stretch out from your fingers and toes or anywhere you feel you can stretch. I have ruined the upholstery on several couches doing that exercise. Feel yourself returning to a conscious, centered state. And you're back in the real world. I hope today you've felt a catharsis or a cleansing, a karmic enema, if you will. Again, if you feel that tonight's meditation has helped, or if anything, not done permanent damage, then feel free to donate. My PayPal is paypal.me/RRK Entertainment. There will be links associated with the video you're watching. And I can tell you, 100% of these proceeds will go to a charity. Because if churches don't pay taxes, then why the fuck should I? If you are an artist, a zero contract or shift worker who is struggling in this pandemic, please do not feel the pressure to donate. In fact, you are forbidden from donating. But do, however, feel free to share this video and tag friends. I don't want your money, honey. I want your love. Now, I would like to say something real to you. You see, I'm many things to many people. I'm a friend, a confidant, an amateur pate goose waiting for my big break. But tonight, I'm just me, a humble icon. And now we are into the endurance part of this fiasco. The discovery of the new is over, and we are settling into routines. And now the hard work of maintaining our sanity and patience begins. Know that we as a community are going through this and will get through this only if we keep our humanity and our empathy. We have to be patient with those we love, support them when they need, and direct our anger to the right places. You are okay. You are fallible. And most importantly, you are human. And well, the tests came back inconclusive, but somewhere there's a mosquito trapped in amber with a lot of questions to answer. My name's Reuben Kaye, the only dementor to have ever gone into showbiz. You've been watching Unwind, and I've been too drunk to drive. But that's never stopped me before. Oh fuck, I have to do this myself. I mean, oh God, I just shat myself. What was that? All right, there we go. God, I missed the day when I had people. Oh, there's the button. Great. Okay. So we're done now. No, that's fine. Yeah, take your pants off. Are you didn't bring the lube?
Oh please, Mother Teresa never used birth control. Welcome to my downward spiral.
Wouldn't it be nice to be in a coma through this?
I'm an actress, a singer, and an award-winning cry for help. Heterosexuality's not a thing anymore. I'm the embodiment of gay culture.
This is the new normal.